I'm here with Cate Reese, super senior and power forward for the 14-2 Wildcats. Cate, you guys are rolling right now. You won 7 of your last 8, including 2 huge wins this past week over Oregon State and ranked Oregon. What's been the secret? What's the energy in the locker room right now?
I think we're working together. Our chemistry is getting better every game. So, I think the Oregon game, like we could have, we were trailing for both games, honestly, Oregon State and Oregon, and we never gave up. We fought till the end, and I think that really showed. I'm really proud of us for how we fought in these last 2 games, especially being down a post. So me and Esmeri were like struggling guarding some bigger people, but we pulled through. We had other people like Maddie come and step up. So I'm really happy with how we did. And I think, we're just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, you talked about people stepping up in that Oregon game. 5 players were in double figures, and you guys have 4 players already averaging double digits. Talk about the depth of this team because that's what makes you guys so scary to go up against.
Yeah, I think if you look in our previous seasons, we haven't really had as many people score in double digits as we do this year. And I think it just goes to show, um, we can all score. We
Mhm.
share the ball, we score. There's really not anyone that can't go out there and, score 10, 11, 12 points, any given day. So I think that that's something that makes us hard to scout just because you have so many people that you have to know that, have their own special things. So I'm happy with that. I think it makes it a lot easier, spreads the floor, and it takes a lot of pressure off. Last year I think we only had like 2 people maybe that scored in double digits, so I think it
Mhm.
takes a little bit of the pressure away.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice thing to have. That's for sure. Another thing, someone once told me that you can tell a team's chemistry by how well they play defense. And against the Ducks, you guys forced 20 turnovers and had 14 steals. So I would say it's going pretty well there. How has Coach Barnes really emphasized the defensive side? And then how have you guys bought in?
We work on defense every single day in practice. Her and Salvador are just so big on us being a defensive oriented team. It got us so far. When we went to the national championship, it got us far last year. I think you know in the past years we may not have been able to score as many points as people, but we could definitely get stops. So I
Hmm.
think that has been just a huge thing that works for us. And I think this year it's great. Like we can play defense, but we can also score a lot. So I think, being able to focus on both of those is great. But I think, we just came out super aggressive against Oregon. We were hitting our threes. We were also getting steals, turnovers, and I think that really kind of bothered them.
Another thing that bothered them, I'm for sure, is that home crowd. I know that that is another defender that you guys have
Oh,
on
yes.
the court with you. Tell me, describe what it's like to play in McKale when you're playing in front of that many people.
It's awesome. If I look back from my freshman year when I first got here, maybe I had 500 people at our games. So to be able to kind of see that transition from my freshman year when, we had to have the curtains down in McKale to make it feel like there were more people to now where, we're filling up McKale. I think that's awesome. And I think it just goes to show, the legacy that we've kind of built here at Arizona and how they are like our sixth man because they can be so loud. It gives me like goosebumps sometimes. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But I think it was great. We it was white out for the Sunday game, so I think it even looked like there were more people just because all you could see was white shirts. So that was awesome. I think they were excited. They were loud when they needed to be. So it was great. It was a great feeling and it was a great win.
When you see those 10,000 fans out there, what message does that send to the women's basketball haters that are out there?
I think it's just like there are people that love women's basketball, and we add new people every day. So I think especially after games, we love to go talk to our fans. We have little girls, little boys that come up to us and are like, "You're our favorite player. Like we come here because of you guys," and it's like it just kind of warms your heart because it's like there are so many people that talk down on women's basketball, but it's like we have communities of people that love to watch us. So I think just being able to see that Tucson community backs women's basketball it's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's like, bye haters. Look at all these people. You
Yeah,
you can come to the game too. It'll be fun if we'll buy you a ticket.
yeah. I wish other teams honestly got to experience like having their stadiums kind of filled with people because it's a
Yeah.
great feeling being able to know that, people do love women's basketball.
Mm-hmm. I know I do. And I really love your game too. I want to move on to that for a second. I know that you injured your shoulder last year and you've kind of been rehabbing. How has that gone physically, but more importantly, mentally?
I think the mental aspect definitely was the hardest thing. I mean, even right after I dislocated it, just being able or having to sit out and watch my team, be able to practice and I'm sitting out just like wondering like what's gonna happen, when am I getting surgery? Like, is it gonna be bad? So that was definitely hard. And then after getting surgery, I've never been through something so traumatic to my body. So,
Mm-hmm.
having a surgery where I can't lift my arm was definitely hard. And then just, going through like I think it was like 6 months of rehab was
Wow.
not fun. Going in every single day to get my shoulder stretched and knowing that it doesn't feel good is definitely not fun. But I mean, also looking back on it now, it's kind of, I'm proud of how I, pushed through every day and just, I had my teammates around me that were always encouraging me and my athletic training staff was great. So I think it's definitely going to be hard, but I'm happy, to have gone through it and know that, you can get through stuff like that. And I feel like I'm back to new. Like you wouldn't even know if you had it followed last year.
Yeah, and it's paying off. Like you are averaging almost a double double. It does look like a new. It's kind of like a bionic arm, when something happens like that, you kind of feel like you are a superhuman. But I know that your off season was different because of that. Still, I feel like your game expanded and it really has. You've been able to score in a variety of ways. What are you liking the most about your game right now?
I think I'm doing well. I think even in the Oregon State game, my shots weren't falling necessarily in the Oregon game, but I feel like I was getting good looks around the basket, especially around bigger post players. I think it was great being able to like pull them out and kind of drive on them just because I do have that advantage against them. But yeah, I would say when my shot's not falling, that I can just drive to the basket or use moves around the basket that really help.
Yeah, and you also bring a leadership to this team. You've been here and not only had the experience of playing late in March, but in a national championship game. Tournament time can feel like it's a little far away right now. We talked about January feeling like a big long Monday. But what are you doing now to prepare you and your team for when that time comes again?
I think just taking one game at a time. I think we went so far my junior year because we looked one game at a time. We were never looking too far ahead. We weren't looking at that national championship game when we were in like the round of 32. So I think it's just, taking every game for what it is because I mean, in the Pac 12, anyone can lose any given day. I mean, you look
Yeah.
every day, ranked teams are losing. So I think being able to focus on the game that you have now, I think is super important. Because if you don't win them now, you're not going to make it to the tournament. So I think that's a huge thing. And just being able for the team to stick together, keep building chemistry. I think peaking at the right time is super important. So I think just staying motivated, even when it feels like the tournament is so far away, but it's so important. These games right now are so important to win.
I love it. I love it. Little One Step at a Time by Jordan Sparks. I play that song a lot. A little TBT, you mentioned coming into your freshman year. I want to touch on that for a second. When you were coming in, you were the highest ranked player that the university had signed. What did you see in this program that made you want to come here?
I think it was just everything, the culture of Arizona women's basketball. I mean, Coach Adia, she was talking to me about leaving a legacy and building the foundation for, years to come. And I mean, it's really happened now that I look back at it. 5 years has gone so fast. But I think, I was so excited to be able to play for a team where I would have an impact early. I'd be able to play and just learn. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that, this was the best school to do it at. I mean, I think we got to the national championship super early, way more early than I was expecting. And I think we could have even done it. We could have done great things my sophomore year if COVID hadn't been, a factor. But I think I'm really proud of how, like me, Sam, and Ari all kind of, they left their legacy and I'm kind of leaving mine now. So I think it's just crazy how these past 5 years have gone. And I mean, I'm sure freshman me would be so proud if she knew.
That was my next question. Thinking back to little baby Cate, to when you first walked on campus to where you are now, what are you most proud of for that time?
I just think the growth that
Yeah.
I've had, I mean, I don't think I would have ever imagined having to get shoulder surgery and all that. So just being able to push through all obstacles and, fight through COVID and all that kind of stuff, I think little freshman me would be really proud. So, and getting my master's and all of that. So, yeah, I think she would be proud of me.
What's your biggest advice that you're telling incoming freshmen or new players to the team this year?
I think, you just stick it out. I think it's hard, especially now, like everyone wants to come in and play immediately and start and play 30 minutes. And I think,
Yeah.
a lot of times and now, especially with fifth years being a factor, like that's not really a thing right now. And I think being able to, stick it out and just, come in and do your role, make an impact when you can is a huge thing. I mean, learning and practice every day will help you, when you do get that chance. So I think being able to just be confident in your abilities and know that your time is coming.
Yeah. I love that so much. That is so important. Great advice. Switching gears a little bit. Cate, me and you have something in common. We both are type 1 diabetics, which
Really?
I love. Yes. We have a bond.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
I
that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? That was the first
Yeah.
thing I noticed about your story. I couldn't wait to talk to you about it. So, T1D to T1D, how is it going, really? Don't sugarcoat it because you know we can't.
I mean, honestly, I got on the Dexcom like right before season started.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so
wanted
people have
that for
been telling me,
you.
yeah, people have been telling me to get on it, and I was like, I don't want it on my body, like blah blah blah. But I think it's honestly been really great. It's helped me a lot at night too, because I used to get really nervous at night that I would just like drop. And I feel like
Mhm.
people that don't have diabetes don't understand that, but it's like a really scary feeling. My sister also has diabetes too, so yeah, I was diagnosed like my sophomore year of high school, so kind of a little while ago now. But yeah, I used to just use testing strips all the time, and now I use the Dexcom, and it's great.
I love that for you. For those who don't know who's watching, we're doing a little diabetic talk right now, but a Dexcom is a continuous glucose monitor that will always check your blood sugar so you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. I was watching a special and I was like, "Oh my gosh, her poor little fingers, she's pricking them all the time." But a Dexcom, I have my husband is on my Dexcom, so when I'm dropping low in night, he can wake me up with the Capri Sun when I'm going low. So it is so, so important. And I feel like we talked about superpowers a little bit earlier. I feel like we definitely have superpowers as diabetics. We have to know our body so well, but
Yeah.
more than a monitor, more than any other doctor. We have to know when we're feeling low, when we're feeling high, all of those things. And being an athlete, that's on top of that. You really have to know what's going on. What other superpowers do you feel like you have being a type 1?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think I'm really good at knowing when I'm low, even if I don't have my phone with me or anything. So I feel like that's really good for me. I think my sister also knows it really well too. Like sometimes if I'm low at night, I'll wake up and immediately know that like I'm low and I need to eat something. So I think
Mhm.
that that's super helpful because I've talked to other people that sometimes can't tell. I don't know if I'm sure you probably can too, but it's it's kind of a weird feeling sometimes, especially when you're like so out of it and you're like, okay, there's something not right here. So
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. How has the staff at Arizona really been able to you've been able to lean on them while you're going through it? Because it is not an easy thing to go through on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, they've been great. We just got recently a new athletic trainer, but both my old one and my new one now, they've both been great with, you know, always having snacks for me on the road, at practice, all of that. And just, helping me whenever they need to. Sometimes my Dexcom doesn't work during games, so my athletic trainer now will always have like something ready for me to test at timeouts or media timeouts and stuff. So I think they've been really great. I mean, they've kind of learned a lot more, having a type 1 diabetic, because I feel like you always have an idea of, what diabetes is, but you don't really fully know everything, I think, until like you're around someone that has it or you personally have it. So I think that that's kind of been a thing too.
I think our other superpower is that sometimes candy is our medicine.
Yeah.
That's not for everybody, you know? We got
No.
that. Well, I'm here for you just rooting you on for the diabetic community and just you as a wonderful person. Before I let you go, the last question, you touched on it, how Arizona women's basketball, one of their motto is leave a legacy. You are about halfway through that senior season. What legacy do you hope to leave on this program?
I just think, you know, happiness and success. I think I'm always smiling. I always have a good positive attitude and really just being there talking to the fans. I love talking to the fans. I'll talk to them for like 20 minutes after every game. I mean, they've supported me. They've welcomed me with open arms since I've been here. So I think we've kind of grown together. I have so many fans that I talk to kind of, that have become like a part of my family. I mean, one woman in her family, she has two kids with diabetes. And so when I first met them, they had just recently got diagnosed. And so being able to kind of be there for them and help support their mom was just like a great thing for me. And now we've just like, we kind of talk all the time. So it's been great. I really appreciate, just being able to be a part of people's lives in a way that's not basketball. I think is awesome too. And just being a role model for younger kids who have diabetes or have any other things that they think that they can't go out and play basketball or play a sport, and just be that role model for them.
I love that. That is so great. Cate, thanks so much for talking to me today. Good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you so much.